Greetings, viewers! Night here, and we're doing something a bit different today. Instead of a commentary, a Foxy Thoughts videos, or a shitpost, I'm going to be talking about OCs. What does OC mean, you'd ask if I wanted to pretend like you never heard the term and wanted to treat like a bunch of dullards? Well, for those who care enough to ask friends or had internet access and looked on Google, you would see that it stands for Original Character. The definition I'm showing right now from Urban Dictionary is the most basic one. Fun fact! Any character written for a series of books, TV shows, movies, games, or plays are original characters. So if we really wanted to spin that narrative, we could say that OCs were a thing before the internet was ever thought of. Of course, if that narrative is wrong, don't be afraid to correct me. There is one thing I'd like to argue though. The part about inserting an OC into any of the memes I just listed off technically make that OC a fan character. I'll be linking a Google search in the description so you guys can hopefully debate me on that if you care to. Allow me to give an example on the difference between an original character and a fan character. J. Foxwell may be a generic anthropomorphic fox, but he isn't tied to a specific franchise and is just how I choose to represent myself on YouTube. On the other side of the coin, Foxwell Pony was created with the intent of doing MLP content and is drawn the same style of the show. I have a few categories for this discussion. Inspiration, originality, story, art progression, and usage. Now, while an original character may be just that, original, it can still be inspired by outside influences. Here we have Mad Munchkin and Twist of Fate, both of whom have OCs based on the Fae, creatures from Celtic folklore. Maddie has the more simplistic inspiration for her OC, a fairy that is able to turn into a Shetland pony. Seeing as how a majority of the Brony fandom are talking multicolored animals, a spirit that resembles a human girl stands out a fair bit. Like Maddie, Twist's OC is based on an Irish spirit called a puka. I said a Celtic spirit, not a mascot for a Don Bluth movie. A puka is an Irish hobgoblin that can take the form of rabbits, goats, wolves, humans, and of course, ponies. Twist's OC seems to be a combination of these. A blue-furred bunny man with the legs of a horse and the tail of a wolf. And this somewhat fits with the lore of the puka, as they will often keep the physical animal traits that they must hide when interacting with mortal folk. Pukas are mostly known as creatures that are capable of committing mischief with their magic. And this ranges from messing with the livestock, spoiling crops, or playing mean-spirited pranks on people either in the dead night or the light of day. Unlike Discord, who tends to play pranks on ponies for his own amusement, pukas are also seen as malicious monsters who will prey upon humans. Twist told me not only is his OC based on a creature from his homeland, but also the genie from Disney's Aladdin, hence the blue colors and magical ability. While Manga Kamen's OC is clearly a griffin, he is a fan of the show Kamen Rider, in case you didn't get it by his name. If I had to guess, I'd also say that running yellow jacket he wears and the thing on the side of his head are meant to be references to that franchise. He also used to wear a ring on the middle tunnel of each foreleg, but apparently he traded those in for the cutie mark he now has. Kamen has a second OC called Skull Kamen, which is meant to be him as a guest. The inspiration for this character came from two places. A character on Kamen Rider who is also called Skull Kamen, and the design is based on the Mystery Skulls character Lewis. Spirit Protection's OC is a skinwalker, a creature from Native American folklore. The legend goes that if someone does something irredeemably wicked, they're condemned as a witch. The powers of a skinwalker include sealing other people's faces, possession, and inhuman stamina that allows them to run up to 200 miles an hour. But the most common ability of the skinwalker is to assume the form of whatever animal they wish as long as they have that creature's pelt. Skinwalkers normally take the form of wolves, foxes, owls, ravens, and eagles. But when I came across Spirit, her form was that of a blue pegasus. Her regular standard form is of a blue deer, but she can also assume the form of a dragon. Now, of course, Spirit doesn't follow the darker nature of the skinwalkers, and her transformation into other creatures is through a cartoony puff of smoke. This probably goes without saying, but the main necessity of your OC is that your character at least be original. Admittedly, this is subjective, but things such as stick figures and recolors don't count as OCs, since literally anyone can make them. For an example of true originality, this is the Masked Star Maker. His OC is a Gmod character resembling something of a wizard or a wanderer, but his face has a truly otherworldly appearance to it the flesh peeling back to reveal bone. There's often a set of cards that float around his head that often turns into a TV set with a Flowey the Flower style grin on it. And his character apparently has the ability to teleport. When I asked him what his OC was meant to be and if there was a story behind it, he told me he himself wasn't sure and just wanted something that would stand out. It's often a good idea for your OCs to have some sort of backstory. What world are they a part of? What's their background, goals, and motives for the things they do? Their personality. These are things to take into consideration if you're writing a story or creating your own original game. My example here will be Nora Frost. The backstory for her character is that her father was a taller than usual unicorn who traveled to the Crystal Empire and married a native of the kingdom. As a result, Nora inherited her father's height, has a crystal-like horn, and her coat takes on a crystalline sheen in the winter. Nora was alive when the Celestial Sisters fought and defeated King Sombra, but unfortunately disappeared along with the Crystal Empire due to the curse that Sombra placed upon it. Upon the Crystal Empire's return to Equestria and the destruction of King Sombra, Nora moved to Canterlot where she got a job as a geology teacher and married someone who wasn't intimidated by her height. So you've either drawn your own OC or commissioned someone to draw it for you. What does your OC look like? Does it share any of your visual traits? And lastly, does it look now the way it did back then? Art is an ever-evolving thing, and you may want to experiment with how your OC looks before you're ultimately satisfied. You can either commission an artist, or draw it yourself. The design of your character may stay the same as it was before, it may change a little, or it may change drastically. I am sure the bronies in my audience don't need any introduction, but this is Tyandaga. Would you believe that this strapping buff reindeer buck originally started out looking like this? Being an artist, Tyandaga drew his own OC and has gone multiple redesigns. I can only describe his first design as being a more cartoonish version of an illustration from the original Bambi picture book. His style became far more cutified after his second design, and was carried over into his third redesign here. In mid-2016 he went with this redesign of his OC and only tweaked it a bit later on. I'm not sure when this version of his OC was used, but the body is definitely longer and the strap for his pendant is now visible over his shoulders rather than hidden under his chest fur. And we come back to the current design, which deviates greatly from the previous ones. Granted, it was drawn for him by Elisite and not Ty himself, but it still counts as Ty's OC. Ty is now far more buff than his previous designs. He's lost a leg floof and has a longer snout, and his emerald pendant is now pinned to a long green scarf. So this somewhat ties into the third category. What is the purpose of your character? Does your character have a story, or is it just meant to be an avatar to represent you? If your character is indeed meant to represent you, how does it stand out in whatever community you're a part of? Going back to Common, I found him at the end of MLP Season 4 reviewing the comics. What made him stand out to me was that his OC was a griffin rather than a pony. During Season 5, Common made this story arc where he died and came back as Skull Common. While Skull was portrayed as the Common we'd come to know and love, a video he did towards the end of Season 5 implied that Skull is a separate character from manga, which was later confirmed to be the case. While Skull did review MLP episodes, after manga returned, Skull would be used mostly as an avatar for commentary videos. Manga and Skull, while being informative characters, are also entertainers. A common theme on Common's channel is that his characters will often suffer cartoonish injuries, akin to Silverquill, who many in the Brony fandom compare him to. Being dead, the theme of amusing injuries works better with Skull than it does manga. He can be electrocuted, decapitated, have his limbs removed, and be subjected to a variety of jokes that just wouldn't work with manga. While the characters of manga and Skull are mostly friendly, positive, and welcoming, they can be sarcastic, snarky, and unafraid to get mad when pushed to their limits. Common has two other OCs on his channel, Alkaholic and Trash Common. Originally an unnamed villain in one of Common's reviews, Al became sort of a side character in the reviews, often being snarky and making fun of manga. While he had more of a posh accent when he first appeared, Al became Scottish later on. Trash Common is a relatively new character on Common's channel, a humanoid collection of garbage that has a welcoming and friendly nature to him. While used mostly to review anime and games, Trash has appeared in Skull commentaries at least twice now, seeming to serve some sort of foil to Skull Common. Well, I feel I've covered everything I wanted to go over here. I would like to thank the people who gave me permission to use their OCs and art for this video. I'll be linking all of them in the description below. I don't feel I'm right about everything I've said here, and if you'd like to debate me on anything, I welcome you to do so. This is Night Eye saying thanks for letting me share my thoughts. Please share yours with me.